Hey guys, Richard here from Romantic Missions. I just wanted to share with you an interesting insight that I learnt or pondered on today that I really thought I really wanted to share with you because I was reading this article and there was this article written by James Altucher. I'm not sure if I'm spelling it right or saying it right, but anyway, I mean, James's article was interesting in a space that it was talking about, how do I rebuild myself? How do I bring myself back? How do I transform myself? How do I bring the image back into my life of who I am? And I thought about this because I'm going through this at the moment, and it kind of blew my mind away because we all think that we're on the path. We all think, well, we're a certain type of person. This is our image. This is the painting of myself. This is my life, and this is all there is. But what James writes in the article is about that, in our lifetime, we're going to change. We're going to evolve. We're going to adapt. We're going to evolve and keep growing. And this is what's interesting, is that our lives are always going to change as well. And one of the things that I'm going through, as I'm going through this change here with myself and my own business, is that, where am I going? Where do I want to be? Asking the question of where am I and what do I want to be? But most of all, the thing that's hitting me the most here is this feeling that I feel like a fraud. Yeah, and it's not a fraud in the sense that I'm trying to scam money. It's more of a sense of like, who am I? Who am I to be doing this? Who am I to say that I'm this? Who am I to be able to be the person here to share with you and what I want to share with you on this video here about talking about fraud and whether you are a fraud. And in my head, this has been going on in my head where I'm thinking, you're a fraud, you're a fraud, you're a fraud, you're a fraud. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Why you bother? Who do you think you are? And it rings through in my head so often that, that in this recent moments that I really thought about it. I'm like, and the beautiful part I read in his article is this, is that everyone feels like a fraud at one point or another when they're going through this transition, when they're going through this transformation, when they're going through these moments. You're going to feel like a fraud because it's unnatural, because it's not what you're used to. It's not what you're accustomed to doing, to acting, to being, And this is what interests me, is that, I realized this is like once I started doing things that are a little uncomfortable in my space, started doing things like, for example, standing up for values, standing up for what I believe in. For example, if I stood up more so for that, bringing myself out here and sharing this value, I really thought about it. And I'm like, it's a bit weird at first, but when it feels like you're being a fraud because this isn't the person this isn't the person you were. But the whole idea is that and he says this one quote that really blew my mind. I want you to write this down if you're watching and etch it into your mind here, is, when you feel like you're being a fraud, that's you being reborn. Right? When you're feeling like you're being a fraud, when you're developing and growing, it's you being reborn. And this is so pivotal, so important to understand. This is what blew my mind, was that when I feel like that, that means I'm growing, because there's this fear, there's this uncertainty in my body of what's going to happen. But if you come from a place of authenticity, when you come from a place of real love and real heart for doing what you want to do and changing yourself so that you can be in a better situation, then you will be feeling this fraud feeling because it's something you're not used to. But if you come from that place, it's a different world. It's like being reborn, right? Because the greatest day, as a quote was shared one time ago, is, the two greatest days you'll ever have in your life is the day you're born, yeah, and the day where you recognize your purpose. And that is really what happens when you recognize your purpose. You become reborn. When you feel that this feeling of being a fraud or having a different mask is starting in your life, it changes your life. So that's what I want to share with you today, and really think about, if you feel like you're being a fraud, if you feel like you're not being yourself, and you're going to ask yourself, if you're changing and transitioning and becoming from a caterpillar to a butterfly, right, then you really got to think about it and assess that, is this fraud feeling something that is me not living up to my authenticity, or is it me transforming into something new that I'm not familiar with and I just need to get used to it? So guys, I want to leave you with that question. So type in the comments below your answers as well on what you think about this. And I'd love to see you more sharing this with other people that who can benefit from this. Of course, always head on over to romanticmissions.com to share comments with me as well if you have anything in question. But anyway, guys, this is me wrapping it up. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot of benefit out of it. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye.